10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
He's back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Along with Jerry Allen and Mike Jorgensen. One of them is actually here. Hello, Jerry. How are you? Man, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be seen.
It is a Friday.
Thursday.
Did you know that I was going to do that to you last night on the coach's show? You had no clue?
No, when you did that, I went, no. But you know what? I completely got confused for a few seconds and then went, oh, I know what he's doing.
Yeah, so because it's a Friday, we operate on football calendar, which means that today is actually Friday because the game is on a real Friday. So last night, if you weren't with us on the Oregon Football Coaches Show, you can listen on the Oregon Sports Network podcast. Go back and watch on the GoDucks YouTube or the Oregon Football social media channels. I said, so Jerry, it's Thursday, though. It's not Wednesday. And Jerry just looked at me like, you son of a yeah. And I thought, yeah, I feel like that's how all the coaches are feeling right now, though, right? Also, Mike Jorgensen is
Oh,
here.
nice belly button.
Hey, it's Halloween, isn't it? It's the headless Mike Jorgensen.
The headless. You never look better, my friend.
So Jorgie's here. Jorgie's here virtually. We always joke but say seriously that Jorgie has a day job, so it's tough for him to get over from the office. So he's still kind enough to take some time out of his day to join us. Jorgie, it's a Friday, isn't it? Are you working tomorrow? If at the day job, what's the deal?
It's the day before the game. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah. It feels like I want it to be Friday. Let me put it that way. I want it to be Friday. Actually, I want it to be Saturday, if you know what I'm saying. So
sure.
What?
Do you want it to be Sunday?
Yeah. Game day. It's
Game day.
time to get game day.
That's right. Game day is officially upon us. The Ducks taking on Cal tomorrow. No Duck Insider for us. That's why these two jokers are here today. Jerry Allen and Mike Jorgensen. We're going to make some picks brought to you by Sylvan Ridge Winery. There's some tough picks to make, and we're also going to dive fully on into Cal and Oregon. Guys, this is a chance for the Ducks. Let's start with you, Jerry. A bounce-back attempt for Oregon, and they kind of need it after that bye week and the loss to Stanford.
Yeah, they do need it. What they need to do is to get over it. And I shouldn't say they need to get over it. What I should say is they are over it.
Yeah.
When you talk to them, they came back on Saturday night late. Sunday morning, they talked about it. They looked at it. They broke it down and went, okay, here's what we did right. Here's what we did wrong. Okay, it's behind us now, move forward. And they are very, very good. And I think it's a coaching staff and head coach Mario Cristobal, who is very good at getting them to release that and let it go and move forward. So that's what they're doing right now, and I feel good about that.
I have to, before we get to you, Jorgie, I just have to say that we have a fan, Bill, tuning in all the way from Springfield, Missouri.
Oh. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's impressive.
Bill, I'm a Springfieldian myself, so when you said all the way from Springfield, I was like, man, someone taking another shot at how far away Springfield is from Eugene, when Springfield's actually closer to Autzen Stadium than the majority of Eugene. But anyway, Springfield, Missouri is actually pretty far away.
That's a commute.
Yeah, that is a commute. That Springfield is a long way away. Jorgie, Oregon, Cal, what do you think?
Well, I just look forward to it. I really do. I look forward to this team, as Jerry talked about, and you guys have talked about probably ad nauseum over the last week and a half, is the way that your resilience shines through, and you move on, and you get through it. You learn from the mistakes, and there were plenty of them there. And again, I know that people are still probably a little less chapped than they were a week and a half ago in relation to how the officials handled that last drive and that type of deal. Let's block that out and look what Oregon had in their control all game long that never would have had it in that type of situation. There's plenty of mistakes to learn from, plenty of opportunities that were there, some of them pretty easy opportunities that they can correct against Cal. And I really look forward, frankly, to a almost completely healthy defensive line to help the linebackers out and to be able to do the things as a complete unit against, I think a quarterback that's really matured in his fourth year. Chase Garbers, I think, has become now kind of that complete quarterback, doing a great job throwing the ball. And he's dangerous with his feet. I really look forward to this game. And again, the challenge that Oregon's going to face.
Jorgie, I'm curious, as a player, is it true that the locker room moves on from a tough loss that maybe had some extenuating circumstances? Is it true that the locker room moves on maybe quicker than the fans and even the coaches do?
Yeah, I mean, from what I can remember, it didn't last very long. When you're between 18 and 22 and you do care, don't ever think that because they move on quickly, they don't care. They do. It means everything to them because it basically rips your heart out until about Sunday afternoon, and then you have to move on. You begin getting into the other film, you put it behind you, and you move forward. So I think that's a real true statement, Joey, is, I think the fans and everybody else, it lingers sometimes for a lot longer than it needs to. Players are really good at, like the defense has to do, and a lot of those DBs that we've heard talk about. You got to put that last play behind you and move to the next play, and I think games are the same way.
Jerry, something that I've noticed in doing this now and in this role is I think a lot of times fans will hear, this quote-unquote coach speak, right? Like, you got to move on. It's the next opponent, faceless opponent. But sometimes now in this role, like, I actually, after being at practice, talking with the guys, and then they come and do the interviews, I think when they get questions about, what happened previously, they always have to kind of look up in the air and like think, okay,
think back,
like what are we talking about? Because they are so focused on what the next thing is.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting this week too when they were talking about the game last week and coming off that loss and getting ready for Cal. Some of the guys volunteered that, hey, we already have a focus for this game because Cal beat us last year.
Yeah.
They remember that. Now, not that they want to use it as revenge, but when you're thinking about a team that you have to play that beat you last year, you're a little more focused on that team this year. So I think that helps too.
Brandon Dorlus did say that it is a little bit of a revenge game for Oregon because Ducks were in the top 25. They got upset in Berkeley last year. It's certainly a team that has had Oregon's number. Now, I think a lot of that, guys, and maybe this is the most obvious statement I'm ever going to make, I think Tim DeRuyter is a big reason for that, Jorgie. Tim DeRuyter now at Oregon, Anthony Brown said it this week, there are some similarities between Oregon's defense now and what Cal's defense is still running in the first year since Tim DeRuyter was there.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. The last 2 years, Oregon scored 17 points in each of the 2 games against the DeRuyter defense. So, and that's going back 2 years ago when you had Justin Herbert as the quarterback. So, it's been a difficult deal. I thought it was real interesting last night, and it should have been more obvious to me when I asked Ken Wilson about the advantage maybe of having Tim DeRuyter. He said, yeah, but what you got to remember is now we run the Tim DeRuyter defense.
Right.
And Cal's offense is going to somewhat know what we do and that type of deal and how we do it. And, Cal has a new defensive coordinator, so there's been tweaks to what they do, but at the same time, DeRuyter is going to be used to maybe seeing a little bit of a Bill Musgrave offense, even though he didn't get a chance to see a whole season of it last year. So it's interesting, the little chess game that's going to take place between those coaches, those coaching staffs, and these 2 teams.
One of the chess game pieces is the running back, and Oregon's going to have a different running back rotation, Jerry. C.J. Verdell, boy, the Ducks are gonna miss him. There's no doubt about it. But Travis Dye wanting to step up, and then those 3 young running backs, that was a big focus this week, is what's that rotation going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Trey Benson, Byron Cardwell, Seven McGee. We know what they can do. They have at times shown the ability to break through, make some plays. At no time did I ever think or feel like when they did carry the ball this season, even though it's only a few times, did I ever think, oh, wow, he didn't hit the hole, or he doesn't have any forward motion, or I think all of them can do that. So, and then Travis Dye said yesterday, hey, give me the ball 19 times, give me it 30, or give me it 10. I don't care. I'll do what the team needs. So I love that camaraderie on that back end.
Yeah, that rotation, though, is going to be important because Travis Dye will say, give me the ball every time. But that's what Jim Mastro-Jorge's going to have to figure out, is which guy fits in the playbook in the best way possible.
Yeah, in the situations. I mean, that's the thing about it. Situationally, what back runs what play right. We saw Seven McGee sparingly so far this season, but we've seen him as a guy who's probably the best of the three in relation to a combination running back, throw it to him out of the backfield as a receiver. So does he come in certain pass situations? We'll find out. Does he become a decoy, I think, in the defense, or the defense thinking he's going to be a safety valve? It's a pass play, and all of a sudden he becomes the run guy. But, the biggest thing for the three youngsters is repetition, being in game types of situations, knowing how to go full speed without having to think about it. That's the difference really between those guys and a CJ Verdell, who's been around long enough, along with Travis Dye, is when they take the ball, they know what they're going to do. They know how to anticipate blocks. They know how to be in a game type of situation. Game type is completely different than practice. And so I know those guys are capable, but it's time that they're going to get some reps, and the time is now.
Mike Jorgensen joining us on Zoom. Jerry Allen here today. We're going to make some picks coming up, brought to you by Sylvan Woods Refinery. I'm kind of curious, though, guys. Bennett Williams was having just a great season, and that's the other side of it. Another season-ending injury to Bennett Williams. That means that Jamal Hill, instead of potentially playing both Williams and Hill on the field at the same time, as Tim DeRuyter discussed this week, he's going to stick at that star position, Jerry. I feel like the secondary's depth has been tested. The linebackers' depth has been tested. The edge depth has been tested. The defensive line depth has been tested. Jorge already mentioned that this is going to be maybe the healthiest that Oregon's defense has been, even though they won't have Kayvon Thibodeau in the first half. But even without Bennett Williams, this is maybe the deepest the defense has been in a while.
Yeah, and I said it last night, and I really feel it goes back to recruiting over the last 3 years, is that Mario Cristobal and his staff have brought in more ready-to-play guys than guys that needed developmental years. So nothing counts for experience, but now they are gaining that experience game by game. So I think the fact that they've got some depth and more guys ready to play is the result of the great recruiting they were able to do, bringing in guys that were ready to play.
Yeah, I think Jorgie, too, just having Braden Swinson back, that's going to help with the pass rush. And then seeing those guys together at the same time when Kayvon Thibodeau returns after that targeting suspension for the first half, he's going to be back in that third quarter. It'll be fun to see that.
Yeah, the ability not to have to play guys 80 plays a game, 75 plays a game when you get that depth back is really the key. You can begin to rotate people and keep them fresher. And we heard it last night with a guy like Dorless. And what it means to have Kayvon Thibodeau next to it, right? How much better when you get guys like that back. And Joey, you made a point of it. We don't get to see Thibodeau till the second half of this game. But when you have a full complement of players, you're going to have to probably double somebody. You're going to have to double Mace Funa. You're going to have to double Thibodeau. All of a sudden, you're starting to take Noah Sewell and put him in a Kayvon Thibodeau type of situation. So there's a guy that you got to watch out for doubling. Sure makes everybody else's job a lot better. But, yeah, I really look forward to a fresher, deeper group along that defensive line. It's just going to help everybody else.
Mike Jorgensen with us on Zoom. Jerry Allen here in the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. When we come back, more Oregon Cal. We're going to talk about that light show coming up during Coming Home. Also going to make some Pac-12 picks. Guys, there are 3 games on the Pac-12 schedule that odds makers have within a field goal.
It'd be great. We get to watch them all.
It's going to be it's going to be a stressful Saturday based on how these picks go. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack and Jerry Allen in the Country Financial Studio. Mike Jorgensen joining us. He was headless Jorgie a second ago. It's spooky season, but he's decided to show us the face, which might be spookier. Thanks, Jorgie.
Funny.
It would help if you would put a mask on.
I know. That's why I don't come in.
That's right. That's right. Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. Sylvan Ridge Winery, the very best of the South Willamette Valley. They're sponsoring our picks this year. And, guys, I'm glad that they're doing so because there's some great games this week. The one thing that I will say from a Oregon playing on a Friday perspective, guys, a lot of people have asked me this week, what do I think about Friday games? I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm going to be honest about that. I think that it takes the spotlight away from high school football, and I think it's particularly difficult on a fan base that isn't all located in Eugene, Springfield. You got to come over after work, and Medford, the Coast, Bend, Eastern Oregon, Portland, Salem. I mean, there's a lot of communities that it takes a little bit to get here for a game day, and so for those of you fans that are still making the trip and making the effort to be at Autzen Stadium, because I think it's going to be an awesome environment, thanks for doing it because that means a lot.
But thanks to the high schools who did change their Friday night games to Thursday night. About half of them did in the state.
And some to Saturday.
So well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Arizona, Colorado, Stanford, Washington State, UCLA, Washington, ASU, Utah. Those are all the games that we get to watch after the Ducks hopefully are sitting at 5-1 and 2-1 in Pac-12 play. So Oregon, Cal, 7:30 on ESPN at Autzen Stadium on Friday, under the lights. Obviously, we won't pick it because, well, we'd all pick Oregon anyway. Yeah. Last week in the picks, everybody who actually has a brain, or some semblance of it, at least biologically, went 2-2. The coin went 3-1 in picks.
No.
The coin went 3-1. The coin correctly picked Utah over USC. We all took the Trojans, and that was clearly the wrong decision. We also all missed on Oregon State. Everybody did. That was an upset that Washington State pulled. So here's the deal. Last week I flipped the coin for every game. Normally we kind of rotate who flips the coin. Well, since the coin did so well with me flipping last week, I'd like to motion that Jerry has to flip for every game this week so that hopefully something changes. And since Jorgie isn't here, it's got to be Jerry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, everybody is in agreement. Let me get my gavel.
It's official.
It's official.
I got to be honest. I'm a little torn here because I'm competing against the coin, which is my grandson's coin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm cheering for the coin. Right?
Well, the coin's right with you. So where we stand right now,
but I don't want it to beat me. I don't want it to win.
Okay. Yeah, he knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So the coin, following the 3-1 week, sits at 25 correct picks. Yes, that is an accurate number through 6 weeks.
Gosh.
Jerry sits at 26 correct picks.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. And Jorgie and I sit at 27 correct picks in a tie for first place. So this is, by the way, guys, the closest that the coin has ever been to us ever at this point in the season.
Let's go coin. Let's go coin.
And that is wild to think about, that the coin has been this close at this point in the season.
Okay, tell you what. If, for some reason, the coin does win this year, I will represent my grandson and I will buy you all dinner.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's
I would do
that's
that.
fitting.
I would do that. Okay.
Yeah. So the way that this is going to work this week is the coin has to pick first.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, boy. I think that you have to be in the studio in order to make a motion. All in favor of that motion?
Motion carries.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay,
choke.
I'll accept that.
What was your motion,
What was your
Jorgie?
motion?
No, I'm not sure what my motion was.
Well, we can change our mind. If it's a good motion, we might reconsider.
That's right.
All those in favor of possibly reconsidering?
Aye.
Too late.
So we're really not going to hear the motion?
No, I'll wait till I come in.
That doesn't seem as fun.
What do you mean? It seems more enjoyable to be able to withhold it from you guys now. See, that's the thing about it. It's just
I messed that up. That's
you
on
did.
me. Yeah, that's on
Technology-
me. I tipped my hand. That's on me.
Technology
you should have heard
is,
it first, and then voted on it. But
technology
instead you
being
voted.
what it is, we may lose the Zoom broadcast today. I hope we
I'm
don't.
sorry,
but we might.
Jorgie. Are you, Brett? Did you hear?
Can you?
Make my big
I thought Scott was gonna turn him off. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
I guess
coin.
we're gonna have to wait.
Okay.
The coin will pick first in our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. So the first game on your Saturday, where, as Jerry said, you're gonna be able to watch it all if you're a Duck fan. 12:30 on the Pac-12 Network. Arizona, winless, visits Colorado, 1-4, 0-2 in Pac-12 play.
Okay.
Coin flip.
It's tails.
Tails. That is the road team. Arizona is going to get the first win of the season for the Wildcats, says the coin. Next up.
Isn't McLeod down? Isn't McLeod out?
I honestly don't know. That you can tell the amount of research I did on Colorado, Arizona this week.
Yeah, that's him.
Jorgie picks next because the last time a human won in picks, it was Jorgie for the week. Jorgie's next.
And so I don't. The coin is the only one that can defer. The pick
That is
this week?
correct.
Yes.
Okay, and there's no carryovers.
That is correct.
Okay.
Was that
Couldn't
what you
remember.
were going to motion about?
No, I just couldn't
Oh.
remember if we voted on that and what I was. Well, I won't go there. I won't tell you what my motion was.
Oh. God, I was so close. Did you see
almost
that?
You were there. Yeah, I was there.
You know, guys, this is a tough pick to me. I mean, I know that Arizona has now lost, 17 in a row?
Yes.
And Colorado hasn't looked the greatest this year. I think that Arizona is due. But Colorado's hungry and at home. I'm taking the Buffs. I think the Buffs defensively are better. That's going to help them out. And I think Arizona defensively is just okay, and Colorado will score some points this game. So I'm taking the Buffs at home.
Okay. Jerry Allen is up next.
Well, I'm just checking the weather here to see what it's going to be for the
64 degrees and sunny
Not
at
bad.
kickoff.
Yeah, that's
pretty.
No benefit for Colorado. What's the line on this game?
Colorado is a 6.5-point favorite. The over/under is 46.5.
Yeah, I just think the home field advantage will make the difference. I'm going to go with Colorado. Arizona has struggled mightily this year, and especially, without maybe their quarterback, and they had some quarterback issues. And I don't know if McLeod's going to play, but I just like Colorado at home.
Jarek Broussard for Colorado, only 60 carries for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's been their guy at running back, but they haven't gotten the run game going. Will they get the run game going against Arizona? I don't know. I think Stanley Berryhill is a problem for anybody to cover. Oregon certainly had its work cut out for them covering him. If Arizona was at home, I would pick Arizona. I'm picking Colorado.
Yeah,
I'm picking Colorado because they're at home. So Colorado across the board for the humans, which means that the coin can pull even with Jerry Allen. 4:30 On ESPNU, Stanford 3-3, 2-2 in Pac-12 play visits Washington State 3-3, 2-2 in Pac-12 play. It's like they're playing mirror images of themselves. Each of those teams has probably early in the season lost a couple games they'd like back, but they've also upset some teams in recent weeks, and that's why they're both sitting at 3-3 and 2-2 in Pac-12 play. The coin?
The coin is going to pick Washington State.
You're calling it for the coin?
Whoops. Other hand.
That's tails. That's the
tails.
road team.
That's
Stanford.
the road team. Oh, I was wrong. Okay.
Jorgie?
Well, I tell you what, Stanford is a miraculous comeback against our Ducks away from being 3-for-3, 0-3 in their last 3 games.
Yep.
And Washington State's playing good football. I mean, they went down and they beat Cal. Played some really good defense down there. Delora is kind of back into the, launch the ball all over the place with no regard for whether his guy's going to catch it or the opposing team's going to catch it. I mean, Cal had a couple of interceptions against him, but he also threw 3 touchdown passes. And last week throws for 400 yards against the Beavers. I think they're starting to get into that Washington State, chuck it all over the place rhythm, sprinkle in a little bit of run here and there. They're at home. They're confident. I'm taking the Cougs in this one.
Wow.
Jerry?
Max Borghi, I believe, is getting healthier and healthier, and they're using him a little more and more, and that makes that passing game work, and I think they have a more complete package. I think what Jorgie said about Stanford is they've got an impressive win or two, but could have gone the other way. They're on the road. Again, when it's a close matchup, I'm going to go with the home team, so I'm going to go with Washington State.
Probably a beautiful day from the Blues, too.
Yes.
Partly cloudy, 67 degrees at kickoff at 4:30.
It'd be fun to be up there for a game like that.
It would.
Oh, boy.
No guts, no glory.
Yeah, but the problem is we've got UCLA and Washington. Washington's a 1.5-point favorite, and then we've got Arizona State, Utah, which is a pick'em game, according to the odds makers coming up. So I told myself, I've got my sheet that I did this morning of picks, and on that sheet I wrote Stanford.
Are you a man or a mouse? I don't know what that means.
But so here's the thing. I wrote Stanford because I felt like Washington State beating Oregon State was maybe a little bit more of a fluke than everybody else did. But now Jorgie's got me thinking that Washington State's actually playing pretty good football. Well, Stanford, my thought was Stanford had to play 3 ranked teams all in a row, and that's why they probably should be 0-3. They're 1-2, but they probably should be 0-3. So I thought going into it, I wasn't wowed by Tanner McKee. I wasn't wowed by Stanford's defense, but I thought, well, they had to play 3 really good teams in the last 3 weeks. So I told myself I was going to pick Stanford. I'm going to pick Washington State.
That's all because he didn't want to fall further behind. That's the
well, I'm in first
positioning.
The coin could tie him now.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
I guess that's tying me now too, right?
Oh, yeah,
that's correct.
True.
But see, here's the thing. I mean, my point is I feel much more confident about my picks in the next 2 games than I do in this game. So this is a little bit of strategy of sitting in first place, and that's why it's nice to be in first place and be picking last. Right. We got to take a timeout. We got 2 more games to pick, and then Jorgie's got to get back to his day job. And we're going to see if we can trick him into hearing that motion during the break.
No, it will not happen. It will not happen. Did you hear me?
Did he pick the Beavs at one point, Scott?
Did you hear me?
Did he pick the Beavs after he said he wouldn't pick the Beavers?
I think Oregon State gets it. And if they lose, I'll never pick them again. I'll never pick them again. I'll never pick them again.
Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studio, and it's our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. Enjoy a bottle from Sylvan Ridge Winery this weekend. You'll thank us later, particularly if your name is Jerry Allen or Mike Jorgensen or Joey Mack or Scott Phillips. Enjoying it on a Saturday after the Ducks are going to be sitting with another win in the win column. That's the plan, anyway. All right, we continue with our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks, guys. And the next game is the 5:30 kickoff on Fox. UCLA 4-2, suddenly outside of the top 25, 2-1 in Pac-12 play, against Washington, 2-3, 1-1 in conference action. Dylan Morris, don't look now, has suddenly thrown for almost 1,300 yards after a very slow start to the season for the Washington passing game. The Huskies are a 1.5-point favorite at home
against UCLA.
The coin?
I'm just shocked by that. I never thought after the first couple of weeks of the season that Washington would be a favorite against UCLA.
And here we are.
What's happening with college football this year? Holy cow. Heads.
Home
Washington.
team. Washington is the pick.
Wow.
Mike Jorgensen, Bruins, Dogs.
Don't
Boy,
don't start singing, please.
What'd you say?
I just was mumbling to myself.
I think I heard what you said. What'd you say?
Tell us what your motion was going to be, and I'll tell you what I said.
Okay, man, this is a tough one. I mean, I know who I want to win, but I've got to be rational about this, as I always am.
Always.
So,
I'm sorry, could you pull that clip again, Scott, just one more time?
It gets it. And if they lose, I'll never pick them again. I'll never pick them again. I'll never pick them again.
That's rational.
That's rational. That is rational. You know, I tell you, I just think UCLA's got too much firepower on offense. I think they're good enough on defense. You know, Dylan Morris is getting better and better as the season goes on, but I still think that Washington is just an average team. I think UCLA is a better team. Washington's going to have a hard time defending that offense as fast as it goes. The run game, Dulcich at tight end, Phillips at wide receiver, and what they're able to do with those guys. I just don't see. I could just see Washington and Softy obviously being frustrated all night long by the UCLA offense.
I think that was really just a statement about Softy.
Yeah.
And I really look forward to following that. See, that's the best thing about it on Twitter. Is just following Softy. So anyhow, I'm taking the Bruins on the road.
Wow. All right, Jerry.
I just think UCLA is probably a more talented team top to bottom. I like what they have done this year. Probably more consistent and consistency, and whether that's been at home or on the road. Washington has gotten a little better, but I'm not sure why. What have they all of a sudden discovered? I don't know what that is, and maybe they haven't. So I'm going to go with UCLA. I agree with Georgie. I just think they have more talent across the field.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that Dylan Morris and with the wide receiver position getting healthier for Washington, I think that this game is going to be close. I'm not surprised that it's a close pick 'em in the odds, but yeah, I just think that UCLA has got too much A, offensive firepower, but I think B, UCLA's defense is I think still better than maybe people give it credit for, even though it has had the Bruins have had a couple games where you kind of go, boy, maybe that defense is kind of lacking,
especially late in games.
Yeah, but see, and that's the key. And I think that Washington isn't the kind of team that's got the firepower to overcome some of those problems or to take advantage of some of those problems for UCLA. I also am actually pretty confident in picking UCLA, so I guess I'm not surprised that no one picked Washington, but I'm a little disappointed in you guys.
Wow. The coin picked Washington.
The coin has picked the polar opposite of all of us, by the
How
way.
about that?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
The
thinking.
coin could be leading all of us.
The coin could go 4-0, and we could go 0-4 right now. If Arizona State, Utah turns out that
That'd be
way.
a little scary.
So far, UCLA, Colorado, Washington State, the picks across the board, guys. All right, we've got Arizona State visiting Utah, number 18 ASU, 5-1, 3-0 in Pac-12 play. It's on ESPN at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Utah, 3-2, 2-0 in Pac-12 play. Is this another Utah team under Kyle Whittingham that you think they're going to win 6 and they win 9, and you think they're going to win 12 and they win 9? 59 degrees at kickoff in Salt Lake City. The coin.
Coin.
Home team.
Tails.
Tails, road team ASU.
Tails. Which tells me who you're going to pick.
I mean, well,
against
the
the
thing
coin.
I'm looking at is I've got to avoid going 0-4 and the coin going 4-0, because I've done that before. See, you guys haven't lived through that.
That's so true.
Oh. Jeez. I tell you, I mean, good for Utah, number one, what they did last week. I got to tip my cap not only to the coaching staff, but the players for everything that they've been through, right? I mean, all the challenges that they've been through with losing a couple of players, losing their lives, obviously, more than just losing them to injury type of situation, is just the impact that can have on a program and the school. And the way that they went down to Los Angeles and won that game and took USC out and just, physically manhandled them and threw the ball well and ran the ball well and played defense well, all the different things. Now, they're going to be challenged this week. There's no doubt about it. I mean, with Daniels, a quarterback, and an Arizona State offense, it can be very dynamic and tough to defend. But something just tells me Utah is hitting a stretch right now where they're pretty darn confident. And they're playing at home. And it's going to be a crowd that is really behind an undefeated team in the league, which is the key. That is the key. And to be able to keep that rolling, I think the Utes win this game at home.
Jerry?
Well, I'm going to fall into the same gutter that you are. If the coin wins and I don't, we're all going to be down there. I think Utah has gotten over a hump. I think Coach Whittingham has got his guys back together again. I think maybe they're fighting through some of this tragedy and using it to their advantage. And that's a powerful, powerful tool. So they have been through a lot, and they've come through it. I think that's what they did at USC. They said, look at us. We're back. And I think they're back, especially at home. So I'm gonna go with Utah.
They got their swagger back, man.
Yeah, they do.
This is going to be the Battle of BYU. These are the two of the three teams in the Pac-12 that lost to BYU. If you believe in the transitive property of college sports,
don't use big words on me.
The these two teams that lost to BYU was pretty convincingly BYU in really both contests. Arizona State.
No.
Say that again.
That Arizona State game was really close.
Arizona State ended up losing by 10, though, by the time all was said and done.
Yeah, they blew it. If you watch the game, they absolutely blew it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, which basically tells you Boise State would be leading the Pac-12 conference, right?
That's
if
right.
You play that
the transitive property. That's what I was saying. If you believe in the transitive property of college sports, then, neither these teams are pretty evenly matched because they both lost to BYU. And does that make sense, Jorgie?
No.
Okay. Colorado lost to them 35-13. UCLA lost to them 42-23, and Stanford lost to ASU 28-10. I'm going to pick ASU.
Good for you. Show them some guts.
I'm going to pick ASU because I think their run game with White, he's been able to find the end zone quite a bit. I think that against a pretty good Utah defense, I'm going to go ahead and take ASU. I think they've got enough playmakers. And really, I think this is a game that everybody's talking about right now, guys, as what is going to be a lot of fun. Some Pac-12 After Dark, I think we're in for that. I think you're going to see a touchdown scored after 10 p.m. Pacific time that's going to be the deciding factor in the game, and I guess I'm hoping that Arizona State's the team that scores that. Jorgie, you got to remind me here. I remember the ASU-BYU game being close, but I remember Utah kind of blowing a couple chances against BYU too. That's what I was alluding to. It was two teams that I felt like kind of blew some chances against BYU.
Yeah, I thought ASU had a chance to take a lead when they pick up a fumble and were returning it for a touchdown, and basically it got knocked out or got jabbed out where it would have been a touchdown for ASU and they would have taken the lead at the time. I can think of a couple of plays in there that really were key plays that reversed the whole thing, even though I felt like Arizona State somewhat throughout the game outplayed BYU.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I remember watching the Utah-BYU game, there were a couple opportunities Utah had the ball and they just couldn't move it. They couldn't score against BYU. And I just thought that, that's two teams that had opportunities to take down BYU, and then Boise State ends up being the one that finally did it to take down BYU.
I think there's a lot of little sidebar stories to this. So when you got Utah and BYU playing, you've got, it's like, they call it the Holy War. It's like a rivalry. Yeah. So, toss out a lot of the things that would be equal, and then
so you're saying college football is weird this year?
Whew. Boy, is it ever.
Crazy year. Crazy year.
Yeah, worst pick percentage for us through 6 weeks this year.
Yeah. I mean,
so where we stand, everybody is taking Washington State.
Cool.
And the coin is taking Stanford.
Okay.
Everybody is taking Colorado. The coin is taking Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is taking UCLA. The coin is taking Washington. Jerry and Jorgie are taking Utah. The coin and I are taking ASU. And I have never been rooting for the coin so hard in my life.
Hey, whichever QB plays best in that game is probably going to end up being the difference in that Utah game.
I think you're right. And I think that Jaden Daniels, I still feel like, has got a lot more in the tank. I feel like he's got a lot more in the tank.
I could be 2 games behind the coin after this weekend.
It could be 1.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yes. And there is a scenario right now where the coin and I are tied for first place, and you guys are both eating our dust.
Oh, gee.
Fear of the coin.
ASU isn't going to lose again until the Beavs, but Jerry won't pick it, is what James says. Does he mean Jorgie or Jerry? I think he means Jorgie.
Yeah.
All right, Jorgie, we kept you a lot longer than we said we would. Thanks for the time, buddy. We'll look forward to catching up with you in the booth tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
He's Mike Jorgensen.
See you, Jorg.
Jerry?
I'm out of here. I look like I'm still here, but I'm actually on my way out of here.
Good luck to the coin.
Oh, gosh. I'm all torn. I'm kind of happy for the coin, but I don't want to lose to a 50-50 flip.
That's right.
That's crazy.
See you in the booth tomorrow.
All right.
Jerry and Jorgie on the call. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more from Oregon football. That's right. A little bit more from the week of practice after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to the Slocum Center Minute. Slocum Center physicians are located here in Eugene and are the official orthopedic team physicians for your beloved Oregon Ducks. With me today, I have Dr. Brian Jewett, who specializes in joint replacement of the hip and knee at Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Jewett, advancements in orthopedic surgery continue for both athletes and non-athletes. Can you share some recent advancements for hip and knee replacement?
Well, Jerry, that's a great question. When you look over the past decade in hip and knee replacement surgery, our implants have certainly come a long way. They're stronger, they're more durable, and they're tougher right out of the box. When you combine that with less traumatic surgery, like the direct anterior approach in hip surgery, with our better pain management techniques that we've developed over the last few years, our patients are moving sooner after surgery. They're recovering faster with less pain than ever before. So, with stronger implants, better surgery, and improved pain management techniques, it's been possible now for patients to go home sooner after surgery. They're walking sooner, and they're able to leave the hospital sooner. And this trend has really led to the development of outpatient total joint surgery centers across America.
It's obviously a profession, but for you, and I can tell for a lot of doctors, it's more than just a job. It's something, call it a labor of love, helping people, huh?
Absolutely. We just strive to continue to improve what we do to bring to bear the greatest and latest technology for our patients.
Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This was the Slocum Center Minute, brought to you by Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the official orthopedic sports medicine team physicians for University of Oregon Athletics since 1967.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages.
It's been so long!
Nope, sorry Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We've made our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks. Now it's time for our Graduated Duck, and it's always brought to you by our friends at the Graduate Hotel here in downtown Eugene. Graduate Eugene, the smartest place to stay for Oregon football fans, especially for a Friday night game. If you're making the trip down, stay until Saturday. Go watch the games in their bar. Awesome setup. Ryan Walk is our Graduated Duck of the week. Ryan is, of course, a Eugene native. Grew up sitting in the seats at Autzen Stadium. His dream to go play at Oregon and get a degree from Oregon, and now he has done that. Ryan Walk, the 293-pound offensive lineman. He is a 6'3", officially a junior, a graduate of Sheldon High School. Started all 7 games at right guard for Oregon during that pandemic-shortened 2020 season, and now this year has really stepped into a starter role. Had to play center after his fellow Oregonian and Alex Forsyth had back spasms before the game. Ryan Walk stepped right in, played center for the Ducks, and man, Oregon is sure glad to have the versatility of the former walk-on for Oregon football, and now taking full advantage of his scholarship, has already earned his degree from the University of Oregon. Congratulations to Ryan Walk. That is the ultimate goal. Our graduated Duck, brought to you by our friends at Graduate Eugene, the best place to stay for Oregon football fans. Pre-tailgate grub, whatever you need, and go through their lobby and just see all the cool Oregon, particularly track and field memorabilia. And by the way, Ryan Walk, a great standout in track and field while at Sheldon High School as well. Ryan Walk from the Graduated Ducks, brought to you by Graduate Eugene. When we come back, a couple more interviews for you from Oregon football. We'll finish up. Well, we went a little longer in picks, so a break a little quicker than normal because we're going to hear from a couple Ducks when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What's with Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew is like a zipline of incredible flavor directly into your brain. Mountain Dew is like getting punched in the mouth with pure neon refreshment that creates a neural explosion, sending flavor shards of electric brain pulses into your very core of being. Okay, maybe that's a little over the top, but you get the idea. The fact is, the mind-bending challenge of describing the taste of Mountain Dew is way harder than just experiencing it. That, of course, is easy. Just grab an ice cold Dew, crack it open, and toss them back. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT. G-O-A-T. Acronym. Stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back at the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Friday night kickoff for the Ducks, 7:30 on ESPN, 5:30 pregame show for us here on the Oregon Sports Network. Want to hear a little bit from Verone McKinley this week. We won't get to his entire interview. You heard a lot of it on the Oregon Football Coaches Show last night. But for everything that we don't get to on the show, on demand on the Go Ducks YouTube channel. Let's hear a little bit from the General, Verone McKinley.
So did you give that to yourself?
Do what? The General?
General?
It was like we started talking about it, and then it carried over from coaches and different guys on the team, and then it just kind of blew up.
I mean, it's not a bad one to...
At all. It's just a responsibility I have, so it clicked.
Do you feel like that you... This far into your career now, do you feel like that you have that responsibility within your position group and within this team?
Absolutely. I take a lot of responsibility for things that go on the defense. I don't really like to blame the D-line, blame the linebackers. If anything, I'll put it all on myself because that's just the standard I hold myself to.
How is the way that you watch a football game while you're playing evolved over the years?
Just
like the way that you see the field when you're out there?
Things haven't really slowed, in my opinion. Just, over time, things slow down. So when I'm seeing it, it's like, there it is, and I'm able to go. That's why I play so fast, because I know what's coming, and once I see it, I go. There's no hesitation.
He was saying that you're a pretty active participant when you guys are in the film room, not just like taking it from the coaches, but then offering like what you've seen as well. Like, when did you start to kind of feel comfortable doing that kind of aspect of things?
Last year. Yeah. Last year is when I just really felt like I took that step of being the vocal leader as well as having my performances on the field as well. So just guys who come before me who are like that, from Ugo, Javon, just that's the thing, how things were before. So just enforcing all that and taking it a step further.
You ever consume football just as a fan, or are you always watching it and trying to learn?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's interesting, but of course on Sundays, I'm always active. I love watching just football, and I mean, I see it from a different perspective, so I'm automatically always learning. But I mean, I enjoy it so much. Just like last night, Lamar Jackson. I mean, how can you not enjoy that? I'm a defensive guy, but it was special. So definitely see it.
That's cool stuff from Verone McKinley. He is still a fan, but he's digesting it like he's watching film. Watch that full interview. He talked for about 9 minutes on the Goducks YouTube page. And to finish up for the week, Steve Stevens was also talking a little bit about that general name for Verone McKinley and what this defense is looking for against Cal.
What was the bye like for you guys, and what's it like? Does it help the bye week before a shorter week, a Friday game? Does it kind of make it more like a normal week for you guys?
We really use the bye week to, get better, get our bodies back and, just elevate our standards. So we definitely utilize the bye week.
How's the secondary responding in particular? Both DJ, Michael, really everybody. Where a lot of young guys who haven't necessarily been in that spot have had some successes, but some late tough moments against Stanford where obviously the final play of regulation, final play in overtime there for you guys. How have you seen those guys respond? How have you responded as a secondary?
Those guys, they really believe in themselves and their abilities, and we as a whole believe in them as well. You know what I'm saying? So, we really just lean on them. Everybody makes mistakes, here and there. So, but like at the end of the day, they believe in their ability. They believe in their job, their alignment, their assignment, their technique. They're good.
How would you assess how you played and also the units played so far this season?
Like I said, we just try to be perfect, but we have a couple of bumps and bruises here and there, and we just want to learn from them. We can't make the same mistakes every week. I had a couple of missed tackles, this week coming in. I don't want to make those same mistakes. So, like I said, just elevate our standards.
So how tough was it just to kind of, summer after that Stanford loss, especially considering you didn't have a bye week game to play the next week?
One more time.
How tough was it not to play the next week?
Oh, it's definitely a little bit. It's definitely a little bit tough. Not getting activated every week. That take that week off. But like I said, we use that week to get better and elevate our standards. Do a lot of good on good periods. So that's kind of like where we fit in game situations. So.
How important is Verone to your guys' group? Just like even in film and off the field stuff.
Verone is, he's very important. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those vets in the group. He's a 3-year starter. He's seen it all pretty much. He really understands what he's doing, and he really understands the grand scheme of things. And we really lean on him to he's our leader. He's the general. So we really lean on that guy big time.
Steve went on to talk a little bit about how Verone gave himself that name, as you heard alluded to by Verone. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Ducks. Cal, 7:30 on Friday, and it's on ESPN. 5:30 pregame show for us here on the Oregon Sports Network. Doubleheader today. The pit crew's going to be there. They're giving away cowbells at the Oregon soccer game. 4 o'clock against USC, 7 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena for Oregon volleyball against Washington. Big weekend. We'll see you Monday on Duck Insider.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought